number 2 of the card reveals, and this one, yeah, we got 2 champions, which I'm pretty excited about, especially, Caitlyn. Let's just say, oh man, I am very excited to build some decks with a Caitlyn included. So, my name is Jay Doza, as per usual, and don't forget to subscribe to the video and like it, obviously, if you do. I don't know, get some knowledge out of the video. Hopefully you guys enjoy kind of my thoughts on some of these cards. And I got to tell you, these are honestly most excited for this set of cards right so far is the most excited I've been in quite some time for LoR, mainly because of what we're going to get started with here, which is Prank. So we're going to kind of start. The last video was Battle Bonds was the first card, and we did everything underneath here. So we're going to work our way up now because the champions are at the top. We'll save the best for last, as per usual. So, before I get into Prank itself, let's go through some of these Prank cards. So, like you got Otterpuss, Jesus Christ, Otterpuss here. Attune, when I'm summoned, create a Prank in hand. So another 1/1 Attune, kind of like Dancing Droplet. Obviously no elusive this time around. Instead, you just kind of get that pure card generation to get this Prank card right here. There's some other Prank stuff too. This one, there is an elusive, 2/1 elusive. Nexus Strike, create a Prank in hand, which is pretty nice because it's elusive. It's, you know, a little bit easier to make a Nexus Strike there. And then we get Concollet. No, that's not the one. Sorry, Benemone or Benemone, Benemone. I don't know which one. I don't know. However you want to say that. When I'm summoned, create 2 Pranks in hand, which is pretty nuts when you take into consideration what Pranks do. Which, all right. Pick one of 2 non-champion cards in the enemy's hand or deck and Prank it. So, first things first, I saw some stuff on Twitter. This prioritizes the hand before the deck. So, if I am recognizing this correctly, I guess it's just if there's 2 cards at least in hand, you're always going to pick those 2 cards. If there's more than 2 cards, it's going to pick any 2 cards at random from hand. If there's less than 2 cards, it'll be 1 from hand or deck, or both from the deck, I think, from what I've read around. One of the rioters ended up posting something on Twitter about Prank. So first and foremost, like I said, somebody had tweeted, if I remember this correctly, there's either -2 attack as one of the kind of pranks that you can apply to a card, -1 attack and can't block, and then -1 attack and grant it vulnerable, and then +2 cost. And spells, I believe, are just only +2 cost. It's like the only thing you can do to a spell. So, with that said, that's pretty strong. For 1 mana, too, right? So, like, if you're spending 1 mana to increase the cost of something by 2, that just makes sense right there. You know, you're basically gaining 1 mana of tempo just from playing that card. Now, you do lose, I guess, a little bit of tempo in having only 3 health on something like Benemone, right? So, you know, when you look at these cards, they're a little bit understated. But then again, maybe not, because like Kelp Maidens, a 2/1 elusive, that's not bad stats, just with no effect. Otterpuss, same deal. I mean, it's actually free because it is a tune. So a free 1/1. Now, I don't know how valuable, obviously, this card in and of itself is, but you do get a Prank. So that's a pretty early Prank that you can get if you are playing it. And I guess, you know, that's really where the benefit would be with Prank, is getting it super, super early. So either way, super ridiculous here that we now have this sort of hand control type stuff in the game. I think this is great. I think it plays to how Bandle City is supposed to be, kind of like this prankster trickster class. I love it. You know, hence Fizz, you know, being a Yordle, being, you know, Bilgewater and Bandle City. So I really love the feel for the region. I'm always a little bit concerned about hand controls things in general with card games. Like, I remember Delinquent Duo and Confiscation from Yu-Gi-Oh! Are just busted. They were staples when they were a thing. They made sense. These do also reveal the cards in hand as well. So you'll kind of get that knowledge too with the Prank, which is pretty nice. So all in all, I think these are really strong. I am concerned that they might be a little overpowered, but I think honestly, from the looks of it, I don't think they are overpowered. I think they're pretty good. The bodies that they're on, I think, merit the extra little bit of power with the hand control. So I like it. Now, we do see Conchologist, another Manifest one as well. Manifest a spell from your regions that cost 3 or less. I do think this does kind of clarify what we thought Manifest does, which is it's just going to pop 3 cards up randomly for you, and you get to pick, you know, of the 3. I don't think it's going to give you a category. So obviously, because you don't have to pick out of 3 categories for your regions, it's only going to be 2, right? So, so this at least clarifies that a little bit. Shark Trainer, man, this is I posted on Twitter about this. This is what really makes me wish that something like this and Jarvan had the option to spend the mana to use their effect. Because if you open attack with a Jarvan in hand with 6 unit mana, you have to summon the Jarvan, right? This one, same thing. When allies attack, spend 1 spell mana to summon an attacking Short Tooth. If it works the same way as Jarvan, you just have to spend the 1 spell mana. Granted, generally speaking, it's not ever really a bad thing. I mean, maybe there's a situation where you want to keep the spell mana. You never know, which those do come up. 75% of the time, that's probably going to be a good thing, maybe even higher. Short Tooth, obviously, it's a little bit of a different version from Long Tooth, so nice little 4-2 with Overwhelm there. I'm not sure how crazy this card will be in general, just because it's a little high costed there. I'm not sure really what deck this is going to go into yet, so this doesn't seem incredible. Your opponent discards their lowest cost card. Again, more hand control. Again, a little bit concerned because 2 mana actually feels like not a whole lot to have. Like, this seems like a 3 of. This seems really good. So maybe this should go to 3 mana or something like that, but this is going to be very, very good in hand control. Even if we're not going the prankster route, just this alone is going to be super useful. Shell Game, refill your spell mana, give an ally elusive and +1/+1 this round. I mean, 2 mana to basically the reason why they did it this way is so that you can't play it really early to push damage really early, so you actually have to wait until turn 3 to play this card. Which is good. At least they recognize that. Early elusive buffs are very, very scary, very dangerous in this game. I don't think this will be incredible, but just gives Bandlewood, I guess, or Bandle City a little access to some more elusive stuff, which clearly this is going to be a class that has access to elusive from what we've already seen. So, Trinket Trade, Manifest an Otterpuss. I don't know why I keep messing up that pronunciation. Or one of 2 spells from your regions that cost 3 or less. So again, it's going to give you an Ottopus. What am I? Man, you can tell I'm from Boston. Ottopus. And then 2 spells from your regions that cost 3 or less. It'll just pop 2 random ones out there. So this kind of a utility card. Not sure how much play this will see. Maybe in something like Heimer. I don't know. 1 mana turrets are crap though, so I'm not really sure. Tiny Shield and Tiny Spear. So this actually comes out from the Yordle Squire. So 1 cost 2/1, create a Tiny Spear or Tiny Shield in hand. Which actually isn't terrible. I mean, it's separating. It is Grant too, right? So it's separating your usual 1 mana 3/1, which is kind of like that base stat line that's like the max without an effect. So now you're pulling off 1 attack to have this sort of choice here. I actually really like this. I think this is really, really good for buff oriented decks. Something like Demacia might even be able to utilize this pretty well, especially buffing something like a Misfortune or something early to protect it, right? Just randomly throwing Misfortune. It's just like a champion you want to protect, right? I'm not saying play it with Misfortune, but Heroic Charge. We got Poppy stuff going on. That's going to be the second champion here. Spoiler that we go over in just a second. An ally strikes an enemy. If it survives, stun it. Key thing to note here, when an ally strikes an enemy, that means only you are striking. It's kind of like Bloody Business. Only the ally is striking. They don't strike you back. So pretty useful there. It's 1 more than Bloody Business, but if it survives, it has that stun effect for the extra 1 mana. So I think this is pretty balanced. I do like it. I'm not sure it'll see a crazy amount of play because 5 mana is where you start getting up there. I mean, it's basically, it's kind of like a Concerted Strike. But generally speaking, I think it's going to do a little bit less damage than Concerted Strike. Stress Defense. This card's really interesting, actually. Set a unit stats to 1/6 this round. It's just really interesting. I don't know. I mean, 1/6 is technically a little bit more than you'd expect for 3 mana. But the biggest thing here is any units that have really low health, you could save, essentially. The thing is, let's say you're saving a 2 health unit from a Mystic Shot. You're spending 3 mana to save it from a Mystic Shot. So really the value you want is if your opponent's overextending to kill something, or if they're killing something at 3 or 4 health with a Black Spear or Get Excited or something like that, then this feels worth it. But it's not terrible. I do expect this to see play, just not sure exactly where. Yordle Smith, attack, give all allies with equal or less power than me. Quick attack this round. I like the idea of these attack effects where everything is getting the attack, which you're going to see with Poppy in a second. Oh, I'm going to hide that. You guys didn't see that. Wasn't there. Pompous Cavalier, this seems like trash. I mean, I guess the idea is maybe you have some sort of OTK with it because it's double attack and you can throw it down early. I really think this should cost 2 mana. I don't think they really highly value double attack, clearly. It's so overcosted in this game, I feel. Like a 2 mana 1/1 with double attack, I feel like is still trash too. So it's just because of the low stat 1/1 is just bad. I don't know, but we'll see. Yordle Ranger. Grant me and all allies with equal or less power than me +1 health and scout. So this will actually get 2 triggers on it. So it's basically +2 health in that turn. So that's 12 stats total for the 6, which is about even. But you also are giving it to everybody else too. This is interesting. I really like this new archetype that it seems like they're kind of building out here with the Yordles. Just kind of like it's basically mid-range. It looks like Yordles are going to be another mid-range archetype to kind of band together. See what I did there? Band together Bandle City and Demacia. So I don't think it's going to be that competitive. Or maybe it will be competitive because honestly, mid-range Demacia, just straight up mid-range Demacia, hasn't really been that great lately with like Bannerman. It's been, Shen Jarvan and stuff like that with barriers. It's been barriers for a while, so. Keeper's Verdict. I actually don't remember looking at this one before. Place an enemy unit on top of the enemy deck. I love this. I mean, I really wish it just shuffled it in, but I guess that's sunk cost, right? And sunk cost costs 8. Right? Did I get that right? I don't know. Like the top of the deck, you just feel like, okay, you're delaying it. I guess, all right. So I guess the idea here too is that you're also like they're losing a draw, right? So I guess it doesn't. I guess it's almost worse. It's almost better in a sense than killing the unit because they don't get a new draw. They just have to replay the unit. Problem is, if it's something you actually want to get rid of, it's still going to stick around for all intents and purposes. So I do like the card. I think it's a great design with Poppy too. But then again, slow speed spell. I mean, we don't see Crumble much. We don't see sunk cost, and it's mainly because it's slow speed. And I don't think it should be slow speed. I feel like this should be fast, if we're thinking about her ult. That should be fast. Just saying. All right, now we get to Poppy, baby. Let's go. All right. We're not going to do, it's Poppy and On. So this is all the Caitlyn reveal and stuff. So, that's actually her champion spell, which makes sense. It's her ult. So level 1 is grant me and all allies with equal or less power than me +1/+1 attack. Then it's I've attacked with allies 3 times. So again, just straight up mid range, just straight up beefy buffed units. I mean, she's gonna go up to a 5/4 when she attacks for 4 cost, which is really good. So that's typical, champion stats, a little bit overstated for what you're paying for there. And then obviously granting all other allies 4 or less, which, I mean, honestly, the way that they're building out Yordles right now, everything's going to be 4 or less, right? I mean, all of these are pretty, with the exception of this Yordle, Yordle Smith, Yordle Squire, these are all, and I guess this guy, not too, but, right, what are the Yordles? We got Concologist, got all these other smaller Yordles down here, so everything seems like it's going to be decently small. Then when she levels up, she gets Impact, so again, that's when, while attacking, if she strikes, you're going to get that Impact effect. Grant me and allies with equal or less power than me +2/+2, and then also Impact. So I really think that Poppy's archetype is trying to focus around kind of going wide and just with like not necessarily big units, but like 2/2s and 3/3s, like stuff that can get outside of Avalanche when she attacks. Like an open attack will put everything outside of Avalanche as an example. It's basically a board of like 3/3s if you could picture that. And then obviously with the +2/+2 it would probably be more like 4/4s. So I like Poppy. Honestly, this is true to Poppy's design. It feels like Poppy. Just this tiny little tank that just messes you up. So, but Caitlyn is the one that I'm really excited for, which we're going to get to in a second. So, all right. So Caitlyn. So all of these cards for oh, there she is. Okay, I don't want to go too far up. All right, Caitlyn. We have Shroom support, and it came in the form of Caitlyn, if you can believe that. So let's go through some of these cards first. That first one down bottom there, Insider. I want to make sure you guys can see that. Okay, yeah. Insider Knowledge. Both players draw 2. First off, I think it goes without saying that this is just like a good card for Shroom decks, right? Like imagine this in Foundry, Frostbite Foundry. Like this would instantly go in. Maybe not even instantly. I don't know. Like me, I don't think 3 of this makes sense It's like, well, if you're already playing Foundry, then is it worth putting Insider Knowledge in the deck, right? Maybe just as like a one of to kind of finish off the opponent. But this might even take the place of Veteran Investigator. I don't know. But seems great. I love this card. Advanced Intel, plant 2 Flash Bomb traps randomly in the top 10 cards of the enemy deck. Does it have the traps here? Or is it up there with... Yeah, it's up there with Caitlyn. We'll see what the Flash Bombs are in a second when I go over Caitlyn. But they are traps. So Flash Bomb traps are traps. And like I said in the last video, I thought they were going to do a little bit more traps. Bingo, they are. These operate the same way as Shroom. So when you draw the card, it's got the trap explodes or whatever and does the effect. Coup de grace. Place an enemy follower into the enemy deck, then your opponent draws 1. So this is kind of like we just went over Poppies. This is infinitely better, I think, because it shuffles it into the deck. They don't get it right away, but mainly because it's fast. Because again, you could argue, okay, stuffing up their draw for a turn is pretty good, but it's slow, which is the issue. Now the downside of this obviously is that they draw 1, right? I mean, yeah, sure, but I think for P and Z, because they don't really have like a Vengeance card, this is still good. This is still very good, especially in something like Frostbite Foundry, where them drawing 1 isn't necessarily bad because it could be a trap, right? So I love this card design. Absolutely love this card design for P and Z. Ambush, give a unit +2/+0 this round. This is another one of those add 2 cards to your hand that turn. It also is elusive. It's give, not grant, so it's only for the round. I mean, if there's going to be another P and Z type like elusive deck, then this is probably going to go in it. But I don't know how good that archetype really is yet. Speaking of that, there's another elusive. Nexus Strike, plant 2 Flash Bomb traps randomly in the top 10 cards of the enemy deck. It's a little, it's easier to get off because it is elusive. Again, we'll see what Flash Bomb traps are in just a second, which honestly, knowing what they are, this is actually not bad. Station Archivist, pick a spell in the top 5 of your deck and create an exact fleeting copy in hand. This is interesting. This is a kind of like a tutor. This is like a legit tutor searching the top 5 cards of your deck. So I don't mind this, especially if, I mean, this is in the predict region, right? So now you can theoretically predict a card to the top, then play this and get it straight to your hand, which is pretty insane. And it's a copy. I'm very excited for what this card can do in kind of those combo oriented decks with maybe Echo or Zillion. This is a very exciting card for me, and as a 3-drop, it's very, very playable. That's good stats in my opinion too. I don't think it should be 3/3, but we'll see how much it's played. Another slow spell, Most Wanted. We'll see if this one's gonna be good. Pick a player to discard their lowest cost card to draw 3. I'm pretty sure, yeah. So we're drawing 3. I was like, when I first read this, I was like, wait, they're discarding their lowest cost card and then they draw 3, and then you just spent 5 mana. That seems like ass. I'm pretty sure that's not how this works. Like, because it's just phrased really weird. I'm very curious. I'm leaning towards you draw. I don't know, because that's maybe they do draw. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Comment below on what you guys think. I don't know if the way this is worded is the opponent draws 3 or you draw 3. Progress Day costs 8. I feel like it doesn't make sense for this to cost 5 and be you draw 3, especially when they're discarding a card. To be honest with you, that seems actually too good. Draw 3 for 5. Pick a player to discard their lowest cost card to draw 3. I don't know. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Officer Squad. When I'm summoning, create a Most Wanted in hand. There's the Most Wanted. This is a 5 mana 4/5. I'm really curious to see. Well, I'm surprised they made this like this. Like another card that gets it too. I don't know what it is about them making cards that get crappy slow speed spell cards, like for Demacia and Detain and all. Well, Detain's fast speed, but like still these cards that just aren't played. Justice Rider. Whenever your opponent draws, plant 1 Flash Bomb trap randomly in the top 10 cards in the enemy deck. There's another Flash Bomb card. Volatile Bloom and Beguiling Blossom are this new Corinna here, which the art looks freaking amazing, by the way. Plant 5 Flash Bomb traps randomly, or activate the effects of all traps in the top 5 cards. So theoretically, if you had like Shrooms and these Flash Bombs in the top 5 cards, they would all go off when you play Corinna. So this is kind of like, honestly, like a finisher for Puffcap decks, which is awesome. Like, I love the way that they've supported Puffcaps here. All right, here we go. Flash Bomb trap. And Caitlyn. Deal 1 damage to a random ally. So this is basically, it's a shroom, but for the field. So instead of dealing it to the Nexus, it's dealing it on the field. Which is nice, like, if Caitlyn and Teemo are in a deck together, because now she also allows you the ability to kind of control the field a little bit. You do need a lot of flash bomb traps, though. I'm not going to lie. And it's random. So it's very But, I mean, it's high value if it works. I mean, like this, for instance, like these stats aren't terrible on these units. Just for the getting of the flash bomb effect, right? Like even Corinna, I mean, you're getting a 5/5, and then you're getting 5 random damage over the course of, well, I mean, maybe generally you're gonna get 3 or 4, but 1 mana for 3 or 4 random damage is worth it in my eyes, right? So I think generally all these flash bomb traps cards are pretty good, and then they also level up Caitlyn, which we'll go over in a second. Piltover Peacemaker, deal 2 to an enemy. This is Caitlyn's champion spell, and plant 2 flash bomb traps randomly in the top 10 cards of your deck. I think this is great for Caitlyn. I don't think this is really that playable outside of Caitlyn. Maybe this goes into like a shroom deck, just because it is removal plus more traps. I mean, it really depends on how all in this trap archetype feels like it can actually go. All right, Caitlyn. Ladies and gentlemen, this is great. This is great. So strike, plant 2 flash bombs, which is good, and she's a 3 mana 3/3 with quick attack, so that's like solid. Draven's good, right? Draven's always been good for that reason. Same deal with Felios when Felios was good. Then when 5 traps are activated, which it does include shrooms, it does include Puffcaps. So if your Puffcaps are going off the top, then guess what? Caitlyn will level. Then she becomes a 4/4, plant 4 flash bomb traps when she strikes in the top 10 cards, and deal damage to the enemy Nexus equal to the number of your traps activated this round. So, like, let's say you're having them draw and they take like 5 shroom damage, and then like 2 of the flash bomb traps, you can deal another 7 damage to their Nexus. Like that's a finisher if I've ever seen one for like those Foundry decks or Shroom decks or whatever. So, and like it's a very specific strategy. This is a very specific. So Caitlyn is not like the splasher in whatever deck you can think of. Caitlyn, this is very specifically pair with Teemo, pair with, you know, this Puffcap or trap strategy, and I love it because traps they've always been in the game, but they haven't really been a thing outside of shrooms, right? So overall, I love these reveals 100%. Love Caitlyn. I like Poppy. I think she's good for, you know, what she does as a champion, what she's meant to do. I think she meets kind of the League of Legends lore and, you know, what's expected of her. But I mean, then again, I can't really ever get too excited over a Demacian champion because they all are just very, I do damage, I buff stuff and attack. Like that's what they do. So it's kind of to be expected. But Caitlyn to me is very, very interesting, and I'm very excited to see how she goes with something like Teemo. But that's going to do it for the most recent reveals. It'll probably be another video. I think they have at least one more champion to reveal before everything is done. And there might just be only one more reveal, actually. I'm trying to think of, what's today? Maybe everything comes out tomorrow. I'm trying to think of when the patch comes out. I don't know. All right. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, don't forget to subscribe and like. I will be streaming on Wednesday, which is probably the good day this will come out. So probably tonight. My new stream schedule has been Monday, Wednesday, Friday around 6 p.m. for about an hour or so. So if you guys want to catch me, come chill out for a little bit, relax, chat, and just chill and play some Runeterra. But as always, everybody, stay healthy, stay positive. I hope shit just works for you, and peace out.